All right, welcome back. Uh, so you all have sat down. Imelda, you said you were going to heal Hatch some more.
I already spent the rest of my first level spells. He is completely healed.
Okay. And Gerg wants to leave his to Scar. I do have a question. If you're trying to take the whole skull, how are you planning to carry it?
So I'm not taking lower jawbone or anything like that. So anybody that wants to knock teeth out of that and keep them as a souvenir, they're more than welcome to. If the hunter has time, I want it hollowed out to where I could kind of use it as a helmet.
He gives you this look like slow blinking WTF thing, and then he kind of shrugs. He's like, "Well, it's probably big enough." Not sure what we're gonna do about your ears.
The eye holes?
Then how is he going to see out of it? He's like, did you want the top of the snout running down over your snout? That was
Like Cubone, man.
I don't know what that is.
Well, I just dropped it in Trio, so it's a Pokemon.
Out of game, I'm aware what Cubone is. He doesn't.
Oh no, I wouldn't have said that in game. Sorry.
I'm fully aware what Cubone is.
Otherwise, if he cannot do this, I will.
I mean, he
hold
can.
on to it from.
He can't really turn it into a skull or a helm necessarily. He could certainly preserve it until you find someone that can, though.
Absolutely. And also, I have rope. If I need to, I will tie a cords around it and attach it to like the top of my backpack for right now.
Okay. Well, is there anything else we discussed that need off recording? We need to put on recording?
Nope.
Right. Yeah, Tonbrus is a hunter. He can harvest stuff, but as far as turning that stuff into other things, he usually leaves that to somebody who's, not out in the field. Other than, expedient. I can stretch this thing over some sticks to dry. But anyway, as far as the bottom jaw, most of these people are quite actually kind of excited to take a bit of scales or some teeth as a memento of this adventure.
Yeah, anything from the lower jawbones is up for grabs, but.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
So I am noting down under my stuff that I have Green Dragon Knucklebone, I will grab a fang just as a. And you grabbed the claws with the intent of making daggers of them for us, yeah?
Yeah, at least 3, 1 for each.
Okay. At a game, that's going to be interesting. We get high enough level of doing this, and Hatch is literally just going to have an array of dragon claw daggers on his chest.
Well,
Like most people don't even know what it means, but then some person who does out of the local thieves guild is like, do not fuck with him.
so interesting side effect. A claw made from a green dragon is immune to acid. Or a dagger made from a green dragon claw is immune to acid, meaning that even if, like, you're picking at a trap with the dagger and it sprays acid, your dagger is not going to care.
You, on the other hand,
You, on the other hand, are not immune, so do remember that. Normally, like, if you had more time, you could try and. The big problem you guys have is you have a somewhere you're trying to get to, so you don't have time to do a lot with this thing.
At a game, I get the feeling all of us are going to be investing points in survival.
If you're wanting to do this as a more common thing, then yeah, that sounds like something you're going to do. Probably getting some specialty tools and what all. The guards, Duralt and Torber, are actually quite vocal in their praise. Lady Laurel is a little shook up over the incident.
That's fair.
But for the most part, you all go. The next day, you pack up and go on your way. And this is where we run into the thing of, I didn't actually plan a whole lot because I'm an idiot. Also wasn't expecting to run this tonight. So, trying to find a good picture, because in order to get where you're going, you need to go through the White Sands Mountains, which I will remind everyone is a haven for bandits and kobolds, which, as far as most people are concerned, are the same thing.
And rumor has it, quite delicious. Fortunately, it's only a rumor, because, you know.
Yeah, not that we would know.
Mm-hmm.
I have changed my display name.
All right. Well, so you come to a small town along the road. It is apparently literally there in order to deal with people that are going through the pass.
That's quite convenient.
Well, this is one of the main passes through. Place sells one of its main products for sale is water carrying devices, because There is no water sources in the White Sands Mountains.
Okay. Well, then doubly convenient. I am awe-stricken at someone's, savvy business tactics.
We come in, draped in dragon wings and
Not again.
Yeah, not again.
I mean, mind you, I'm not just draped in a dragon wing, I am strutting actively.
So,
Yeah, you get some space cleared around you.
is there? Oh man, I forgot all about. I'll do it next time we can.
What's that?
I have a cane with a question mark near it. I believe it still needs to be identified. As I don't remember who attempted previous, but they were unable to identify. Oh, I assumed it was a low roll.
A cane? C-A-N-E?
Correct.
I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have to go back to watch a previous video because I don't remember it.
That's fair. We don't play this very often, and so
Yeah.
solid chance it wasn't even last session. It might have been the one before. Whatever. We'll move beyond it.
I'm just trying to find... I don't even seem to have any notes for this game.
Oh well, in that case,
There's a
I
lot
have
of...
a lamp. I have a lamp with a genie in it, and a no, I'm fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well, you're not going to enjoy that, but okay.
I didn't say I was using it. I said I had it.
Huh. I don't even have a folder for this game. That is...
Yeah, cane right here next to my +5 daggers.
Uh-huh. Well... I have no idea what that was supposed to be, so...
Okay.
Anybody remember when he picked that up?
Not even
I
slightly.
believe it was kobolds.
What?
I believe it was kobolds. That's all I remember.
Yeah, but which time?
That's fair.
I think it was the. I don't know why, but I want to say it was the swamp where I, jumped through the tent.
Ah, you know what? I think I do know what it is. Does it have a description with it?
Nope, just cane. Question mark.
All right. Gonna ask. Are you gonna have Imelda try and identify it?
Yes.
All right. Jim, in that case, give me a roll. If you roll high enough, we're gonna have to pause while I go try and find that adventure and make sure it's what I think it is.
Spellcraft, right?
Yep.
Nat 20.
Yep. All right. So we will pause here for a moment. Again, welcome back. Sorry about the delay. So not able to find exactly what it was. I think you got it from the shaman in the swamp who was using it as a staff. With the proper activation, which it basically is a staff of illusion.
Okay.
It will let you cast up real quick. Excuse me. It lets you cast a couple low-level illusion spells a day.
Okay. We don't have to get into the particulars at the moment.
Actually, it has X number of charges in it, and I don't believe you have any way to recharge it.
Okay.
It is not the Staff of Illusion that you would find if you looked it up. It is not that powerful.
I didn't think so.
Considering the one that it lists is 82,000 gold.
Right.
Yeah. This is things like minor image and ghost sound and things like that.
I'm just calling it the Cane of Illusions.
Okay. I will give you the list of what all it can do later.
That's fine.
Since I had forgotten it existed. That is on me.
That's cool.
You know, I need to keep better notes, but that's probably never going to happen.
That's fair. I gave it up long ago. They're all at my feet. The dogs have eaten some of them. I was really upset about it.
Pia's horse actually wandered back into camp while y'all were.
One that should be on.
All right.
She
Called by the spicy ham. That's my opinion. I don't know fuck all about horses even, but I'm learning. I want to learn. But dragons and horses, right? Got to up that survival skill.
Wait, Gurk, I need to talk to you for a moment.
Yeah.
All right. As I'm looking over your bandaged chest. I'm like, I get that you don't want the healing to magically heal you because you want the scar. But I would really prefer to do a proper check and make sure that it's not going to cause long-term problems. A scar that big in that area could cause you issues in the future. Make it harder for you to fight.
Fine.
I'll just make all I'm doing heal check Justin, basically just making sure that what damage is there is not going to be an impediment in the future when as long as it heals right.
Okay.
That's a good heal. Good enough heal. That's a 17.
Well, looking it over, you've determined that if you're not going to magically heal it, you might want to sew it up.
All right. So, okay. No, I'm like, all right. So I'm going to need to sew this up.
Okay.
You don't want to get septic.
Basically. Let's see.
It's
Do I have...
fine. It's fine. You just lick it and call it a day.
No,
look
I
at-
don't. You might like.
No,
I
I
don't.
look at you. No.
Did you just told him no? Like no, bad dog.
No.
Hit him with the newspaper, mate.
I do actually ask about for some thread.
Sarid, one of the servants, has a healer's kit.
Okay.
They will gladly prefer.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that's
basically, it's just another heal check to properly patch the wound.
And see how cool would it have been to have the skill to harvest the dragon sinew and use that for your sewing up. You know that would have been cool, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's something to keep in mind since the two of you apparently want to make a regular business of this.
Absolutely. How else are we gonna find stuff for my book?
26, by the way, on the heal check.
Okay, yeah. You've sewn him up. You rebandage it with some
Well, I have to confess
light,
to being somewhat amused.
a light poultice because you don't want to have it heal too cleanly because then it won't scar properly.
Mm-hmm. As out of game, I don't know. Sam? Do you have a cooking kit?
I do.
Huh. So do I.
I have an iron pot and a mess kit, a mirror. I attempt to make camp like as city like as possible. I'm not a country kid. I bring several creature comforts that don't make sense.
No, I mean an actual cooking kit: iron pot, skillet, ladle.
Yeah, I have an iron pot and a mess kit.
No, there's literally a thing called a cooking kit.
I don't have a cooking kit. No, I assumed a mess kit was enough.
Mess kit's using to eat, not to cook.
Okay. Well, I
You and
assumed
I
in the
work together then
description
on.
that right. Well, I have an iron pot. I
Yeah,
assumed
you
the
can.
mess kit was enough to, you know, use to cook with. I don't have a ladle to serve people,
The
but who cares? Bring your own bowl. I don't
yeah,
care about that.
the cooking kit is a little more elaborate of a setup. You can obviously
Right.
cook with what you got.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't do a whole lot of food prep. If that's more to my point. So it's not as elaborate as it could be. But I think if you've got a cooking kit, I would gladly use it were it offered.
Mhm.
Well, perfect. And so, Justin, I wasn't sure what that is. Is it a profession?
Um,
Because I have 2 skill points on reserve
I was
for
like, it can go
that
into
skill. I wasn't.
profession or craft. So profession is obviously slightly broader than just the pure craft.
Okay, so
Profession.
what I want is the craft because I want to shoot towards that dragon craft stuff. And that was I just that's what I craft. I craft dragon plates of food,
Okay.
among other things. But that's where the skill will start.
We're about to
Okay.
go
So
for a
yeah,
drive.
I was gonna say profession would involve like presentation and stuff like that. So not necessarily.
I don't want to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not the book, man. The book. Cool. So yeah, I do have cooking as a skill.
Alrighty. All right. Was there anything else before you guys go into the actual town?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Okay. All right. So you're at this small town. Uh, it you can tell it gets most of its money from people passing through. You're in a pretty rocky area. Everything seems to have a light coating of fine sand or dust on it.
A little bit.
So not a lot of good
Just for
farming
ride.
area.
I love you.
But you are welcomed in. They do have inns here. In fact, far more inns than you would expect for such a place of this size. Welcome, welcome. One of the servants goes and makes arrangements at one of the whole party. Do you guys? So you're letting know that they're gonna rest here for the next day before they begin ascending the pass.
Okay.
You guys go and do anything?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd hate to think Hatch is in a new city and isn't figuring out what the nightlife is like.
All right. So what's the plan?
Shit, new city. I don't know. So I'll ask. Is there an innkeep?
Yeah.
What kind of nightlife is there? And I won't say it out loud, but I mean, very obviously, from the look of me and my ragtag bunch, safety is no issue. I'm looking for nightlife stuff.
Well, yes, but if you're talking to the innkeeper at the inn you're staying at, you came in with a noble lady and her entourage. You look rough, but he's not counting that as a whole lot.
Hey, that's fair. That's why I said I'm not saying it out loud because of current company. However, I'm sure the look of me may imply that I guess I'm.
No,
Is
you
there
definitely
some
look
kind of like innuendo role? Is that a thing?
They got rid of the straight up innuendo. It is now bluff to pass a message or to basically
Insinuate.
convey something without speaking. Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. An insinuation. Um, 19.
Okay. Well, I assume you're not talking about the bats and rats and what all.
I wouldn't think so. But if I were, tell me what it is that I'd be trying to avoid.
Well, you do get some unusually large rats, but they're not really that big a problem. You are going to want to avoid being too near any slaughter places, especially at night. We get a problem with sturges coming down out of the mountains.
Okay.
The walls keep out most of the local wildlife fairly well, but those bastards fly, so. Now, pretty sure, as I said, that's not what you were really wanting to know about. You were looking for some entertainment, yeah?
Correct.
Well,
Some places I might need to keep the lady we're escorting away from, so to speak.
get all sorts through here. She'd probably be best sticking to this side of town. On the other hand, if you head to the west end, it's a bit rougher. They've got some, out of game. My brain just turned off. Some places of ill repute, dingy taverns and gambling halls. Brothels.
Well, that sounds exactly like the sort of place our lady needs to avoid. You hear that, Greg?
Yeah.
we better not let them over there. Right, Imelda?
I've kind of slid over gambling halls.
Yes. Our lady need avoid that area.
I kind
Thank
of
you, kind keep.
Not at all. I'm trying to find a... Problem is, everything I'm finding here has, like, sitting on a lake, and while they have water sources, they don't have a lake. Trying to find a good map for this town. It is not helping me. Anyway, we'll just have to deal without it. So, you guys head off to explore on your own then?
Yes. I would. So, did any of the people accompanying her seem like the more salt of the earth type of individuals, as Hatch may put it?
Not exactly. There were a few people that seemed like they knew their way around that stuff, but not that that's where they lived.
Okay. What about some people that may be, I don't know, potentially corruptible by Imelda?
Imelda was working on Lady Laurel.
That's a big, big game for me. Yeah,
So, just as
whatever.
a quick rundown, I'll let you know who all's in this party. You have the lady herself, and her two guards, Daryl and Turbor, which are a human and a gnome, respectively. You have Callum, who is a servant. Rotham is a minor noble for one of the houses that is accompanying him. He was also on horseback. If you notice, there were only 3 people on horseback,
Right.
the lady being one of them. Now, Tora is a historian who was accompanying the lady. Pio is a priestess, technically. Baden is a cook and general servant, but, specifically the cook. Maury is a pilgrim who joined up with them somewhere along the way from where you found out. She is a monk. She is not from the Empire. She is
Okay.
actually, even though like some people you can tell are descended from like Damarian descent, or Maury is actually from a Thon.
All right.
Sarid, the dwarf, is a servant. Tonbris is the hunter that they hired to help guide them. Honer is an elf that is your minstrel. So
I think the minstrel would be fun company. Do just from hearing the description of them, would Hatch be able to kind of take assessment from interacting with them intermittently throughout the day?
I mean, yeah,
And potentially, also, before I ask any more, do the servants have freedom of leave?
like I
Like,
mean,
just I want to take some of the people from the Thon out and get not nearly as crazy as I normally would, but kind of dip their toe in the nightlife that the 3 of us share on a regular basis.
okay. Well, the only one from a Thon is the monk, Maury. The others are from the Emerald Empire.
Or whatever. I
Right, I get what you mean
misspoke.
though.
Yeah.
Uh, so Callum seems to be amiable. Honestly, Rotham is probably more stuck up than Lady Laurel is, so he's not definitely. The hunter is honestly probably your best bet as far as someone who's willing to go out and experience new things.
Okay.
Probably spent more time in company in the last week and a half than he has in the rest of his life since he reached adulthood.
Okay.
And I'm going to need to
Well,
call a pause again.
all right.
Or we can finish the conversation real quick, but
Yeah. Basically, I want to poke and prod and figure out a small group that would accompany us for some shenanigans, lighthearted as opposed to our normal, brutal, drunken savagery.
well, unfortunately, you're not going to get Honer, who would normally be willing to, because, well, he's been called upon to entertain her ladyship.
Ah, damn it.
Kind of his job.
That's fair.
Uh,
I'll bring him a pint.
Yep.
From a local pint, something he's never had before.
Baden is out getting supplies. Yeah, Callum is available, and Tonbris is available if you want to take those two. Unfortunately, it looks
Let's
like
go.
those are the only ones that would be willing to accompany you that are available.
That's fair. Because that was basically where I'm at. I don't want to have to roll to convince any of them, but I will let them know ahead of time. It may get a little shenanigan filled.
Callum seems she's like shenanigans, you say.
I do say shenanigans.
As long as you're not claiming them yet.
Uh-uh.
I actually would be looking for. You know what? No, gambling hall because
Yeah, I kind of
funnily
figured.
enough, first off, gambling. Second of all, it actually seems like a good place to try and find out if there's anyone who could work the knucklebone.
Ooh, that's a good point. All right, we will be back in 5 minutes or less. All right. So you all are heading into the western portion of Saltel. This is, again, not a perfect picture, but it's the one I'm going to go with because I wasn't going to find a perfect picture in the time I was willing to devote to it.
Honestly, I like the big crayon sculpture in the bottom corner.
That is the, I can't think of the word now.
The Crayola Keep.
Crayon is the people that made this. Craiyon. That's their symbol.
Oh, I get it. That's an arrow. You are here. That's what it is.
Sure.
Their watermark.
Yeah, that's more like it's their water. They have quite a few city and village maps. I'll have to look into these a little bit more later. Save
Signature
that
might
for
be more
later.
appropriate, but
Hmm?
I said their signature might be more appropriate.
Yeah, that works too. But I'll also point out it's quite blatant. So, yeah.
I feel like both are technically accurate, and otherwise we're just gonna keep going. So yeah, you head out to have some fun. Emilda is looking for a gambling hall. What are Hatch and Gerg looking for, especially with your new companions?
Well, firstly, do they have any interests?
Well, Tonbris is like you might want. Tonbris actually brings up the fact that if you're planning to keep those wings, you might want to get them treated because they're starting to rot.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was actually
We're into
something
that.
I brought up.
Yeah. We need to find someone that can work the dragon items.
Like, at least preserve them.
Yep.
Well, honestly, if you all are wanting to start hunting and preserving, you might want to see if they have an alchemy shop. You're going to need some ingredients for carrying it with you.
Okay.
Alright, fine. Let's go.
I mean, we did harvest all this stuff. We don't want to waste it all. Might as well do that before we go and have our fun.
Oh. Kalumi, that's what it is. I miswrote it on my thing. There's an I at the end of her name. Kalumi. She just seems kind of interested in looking around. She's like, show me what you found. I am excited to see it.
Absolutely. I'll start showcasing my harvested items. The heart.
Oh, you did harvest the heart? Didn't know you did. I don't
Yeah,
remember
he
that
did.
part.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
The
you
heart. I
talked
also
about it.
wanted to harvest blood if I were able.
Did you have anything to keep it in?
A water skin. I would empty.
Well,
I'm aware it probably made me messy.
I'm actually going with the fact that you probably don't have a water skin now.
Oh, well, no, I don't have glass, so
Yeah,
there you
glass
go.
or iron.
You live and you learn.
Yeah. So you tried and found out that there was enough acidity in the blood that it eventually ate through the water skin.
Well, you live and you learn.
So another thing you need to do is pick up a new water skin.
It would seem. One potentially made of better material, sterner stuff.
But Kalumi says, well, if you're going to do all that, the alchemist shop would probably have some vials you could use.
That'll be great.
Right. To the alchemy shop.
Well, I'd still let her pour over what I currently have.
Well, she
The
was there.
heart, bits of flesh. Oh, well.
She meant what you found in
Then,
town.
right. Oh, forgive. Come, we're off.
Gerg does his best impression of a gentleman and like sticks out his arm. Whether or not it looks anything like, an invitation for her to grab it is.
Well, with her somehow getting a nat 20 on her sense motive, she figures. Yeah, I'm not kidding either. She figures out what you're doing, and after a moment of looking at you to make sure she's got this correct, she takes your arm. She's like, okay, sure. This isn't weird at all.
No, why would it be?
Continues to
It's only weird if you make it.
strut through town.
Okay. Um. So you visit the where are you going first, actually?
Alchemy.
Okay. So stop by a small alchemy shop, the Mortar and Pestle. It's a
We'll see what they got.
yeah, it's not a large shop. The customer area is maybe 10 by 15 max. The building itself is a bit larger, but obviously it's not all open to the customers. You have a boy sitting at the counter on a stool reading, poring over something. A deep look of concentration and his tongue sticking out of the corner of his mouth as he slowly slides a finger along the page.
I'll give him a second to notice us before I interrupt him.
He does not. The door is open, so the bell didn't go off when you came in. But this place is pretty dark. It's illuminated by bowls of glowing something that are suspended above.
Oh, Oh,
There's not an actual flame in here.
then I'll backtrack 4 or 5 steps, and I'll flick the bell myself. Ding.
Oh, he looks up so fast he almost drops the book. Hello, Grandma. Grandma. He hops down. He goes through the curtain to the back and he comes back out. One moment. Holds up a finger and he disappears again. Grandma.
Good kid.
A few moments later, a older woman comes out, picks the book off the floor where he dropped it, closes it, sets it on the counter. He's like, how may I help you, dears?
Nice lad you've got there.
He's
Just curious, would you be?
Hmm.
Continue. Sorry, continue.
He's a handful, but he's trying.
Yeah, we all are at that age. Was wondering if you'd be interested in some dragon wares, and also selling the items to potentially preserve said wares on our next excursion.
Well, I can certainly use some dragon bits in my alchemy, yes. What have you got?
And all of us start dumping shit on the counter.
Well, okay, so you have the heart, which is a slightly rotted piece of meat at this point.
I've got some nearly turned steaks, unless we ate them all. Also some wings, and then whatever bone and stuff everyone else harvested.
So she's just like,
Now you see our issue and why we came to you.
Well, it's not completely without value, although it is
I didn't
certainly
think it-
not what it would have been.
We didn't exactly.
Yeah.
I,
This one just sort of fell in our lap.
yeah, somebody else was talking, but I could barely hear it.
I said we didn't exactly expect to fight a dragon.
There we go. Well, most people don't go hunting them. And it's a quick way to a short career.
I plan on making a living out of it, love.
For as long as you live.
That's the truth of it. See, that's how you got to think about these kind of things. They are lifelong endeavors, regardless if that life is 1 day or 5 or 6 years.
She looks at you kind of askance for a moment, and then she just shrugs and like, well, you're not wrong. Well, so are you wanting to divest yourselves of the lot, then?
Well, we're mainly looking to preserve the wings and, bones and whatnot. Keep these wings from rot fighting and whatnot.
She looks him over. She's like, I'm sorry, dears, but this one especially is pretty well. There's not a lot of saving here. She holds up the one that Hatch had. This one's obviously in better conditions, but it's still. I don't want to make promises. Good news is, natural acidity of the dragon means that most of the insects and what all that would have gotten to it are staying away. Helps it last a bit longer.
And so the one wing that is damaged, if we can even salvage a 6-inch by 6-inch piece, that's enough to make some sort of little pouch or something. You know what I mean? Like we're even even that minuscule of an item would be enough for me at this point. Essentially, what I want to do, DM, is shoot towards this dragon crafting feat, and a lot of this is going to serve as practice.
Okay. So I'll tell you what. Since if you're talking to her and you're also talking about what you need to preserve for your next time, because you did bring that up, she says that what she'll do is, in exchange for the heart, she will help you attempt to preserve what you can.
Perfect.
Basically,
I can't really ask for much more.
the heart itself will pay for the materials and some lessons,
Oh
but it
man,
doesn't
yeah.
pay for her to do it for you. Does that make sense?
Okay, absolutely.
Okay.
Now I am willing to do that with my portion of the items because there is the possibility that I lessen the amount of stuff here in failure. So if other people are not willing to do that, I understand.
So, as I understand it, the scales and bones aren't in much danger of rotting, correct? It's only flesh items.
The bones will eventually, but honestly, because that was what Tonbris was having you do, was strip the flesh off to help keep the rot away from them. Excuse me,
Right.
they'll need to be
So,
treated and done stuff with eventually. Sorry, a little gassy right now. But it's nowhere near the hurry.
so the people who did not come with us, will have to attend to their own dragon teeth and scales and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But as far as the claws, the skull, my portion of wing, I am willing to throw in with this for the lessons rather.
Okay. So you're letting your stuff be used for his lesson, or are you also wanting lessons?
Oh, I mean, I'll sit in with it, but he's the crafter. I'm just kind of watching.
Okay. Uh,
An interested party, you might say.
yeah, Tonbris is definitely interested in seeing a bit of this. Not something he's ever dealt with, because honestly, he'd rather never see another dragon for as long as he lives. However, it is a craft related to what he does, so
He's at least interested.
yeah.
If anything, it satisfies curiosity.
Basically. Kalumi just seems quite fine sitting here watching. She doesn't seem to be particularly bored or excited.
What was her job?
She is a servant.
Oh, okay.
She seems to
And so
be
she potentially has the patience of one.
right. It's not that she doesn't seem to be enjoying herself. She's just not like super excited. Oh, like, oh yeah, let's do that. Or like, oh god, we're gonna be here. She's just, oh, okay.
Don't worry, love. The night will liven up.
So, as a reminder, you guys are here today, all of tomorrow, and then theoretically you should be leaving the day after.
Okay.
So you're already looking like it's mid-afternoon right now. All right, give me some. You're making intelligence checks with a +3 here. And she does have you start on your wing because it being in the condition it's in. Failure there is not as big a deal as it will be on the other stuff. Meanwhile, she's over to the side. While she's instructing you, she is also apparently pickling the heart. Based on the smell. And Sam is muted. Imelda, what are you doing?
And that
New game.
was
Oh.
sorry, 16. I was unaware that I was muted. 16.
Okay. Yeah, that's... You're getting some of the basics down. Unfortunately, like for your first time, it's your first time you're working with some not great pieces to start.
Yeah.
So it does not look like that one does not come out well. You have strips of preserved wing sail.
All right.
But you don't even have like a large patch.
Right. Some strips are fine. I'll figure a way to incorporate those with something.
Okay. What do you want to work on next? Do you want to work on the other wing sail? Or the other wing, rather?
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead and make another roll.
Same +3.
Yep. That's from her instruction as you're working.
Excellent. This is much better. A 19.
Okay. So basically what you end up with is something that it's gonna work like a shoulder cape. Do you know what I mean?
I'm with that.
It's
Yeah.
A,
Yep.
for the size of it, of what it is to begin with, plus but you have managed to... It's going to need a little bit more work over time, but between the instructions she gives you and Tonbris listening, so he's like, he can help you, you should be fine to finish the work on that.
Perfect.
As far as the bones, to preserve those, she gives you a mixture. She says you'd be best off if you could form a bath and soak the stuff in it, but... Like, she gestures at the skull. I don't know that you have a barrel available to make one big enough to put that in.
No, I'm not a barrel right, so I don't plan on spending a month making a barrel big enough anyways.
I mean, you could just go and buy one, or a half barrel would probably be big enough, but all the same, you can brush it on every day and let it soak in.
A little more labor intensive.
And it does have the possibility of failing. If you put it in the bath and let it soak, it's pretty well guaranteed to work.
Well, there you go. I think that sold itself. We need to buy a barrel.
And Tonbris points out, we're only here for another day.
So how long all right.
You
So
would
what I'm
probably...
gathering then is some of these items may need to stay here and be tended to, and we need to come back.
Because if you can find somebody willing to look after them for you.
Would
I'm willing
that
to pony up.
somebody be you?
I was just about to say I'm willing to pony up some money for some craft work to be done by you,
Okay,
if
Tonbris is
that's
the
your
one who
thing.
said that. The hunter.
Who
If you were
said?
talking, if you meant the alchemist, she goes,
Yeah.
well, I don't really do the crafting for the items, but if you just wanted to rent a little bit of space in my shop for me to store the barrel while you're gone.
That would be perfect.
Certainly. Well, in that case, come. She looks at Gerg. Why don't you head down the ways a bit? There should be there's a barrel, right? You could purchase one and carry it back here. You look plenty strong enough.
I set the skull down and nod as I go looking for a barrel.
Yeah, it doesn't take you long to find the place. It's got a half barrel hanging out front, you know.
By the way, is Imelda with us, or did she slinger off? She slinked off somewhere, right?
Jim?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're relatively boring at this point. I wasn't sure if she stayed
No, hang on.
or if
He's trying to call.
Wanderlust grabbed her.
No, I'd already left for the gambling house by the time you all
Okay.
decided.
Okay.
By the way, Gerg, barrel is going to be 2 gold.
Right. I don't need to roleplay the sale of that.
Nope. You walk up, they've got prices marked. You literally just pull out the money. He's like, oh, okay, cool.
And I throw a barrel over my shoulder and walk back.
I was going to say, I don't think 30 pounds is really an issue for you.
No.
The only issue would be the size of it.
I was going to say, 30 pounds isn't an issue for me. For Gerg, it would be of no consequence.
No. 30 pounds for, what, about a block? Yeah, it's not an issue.
In theory, you could roll it.
So basically, he brings the barrel back. She has you start fetching buckets of water, and then shows you how to mix the chemicals that'll go in. Stir it with a big stick. You place all the bone items inside that you wish to preserve. And he went muted again. Sam?
Sir, do I need to spend money, roll something?
You're going to need to roll a craft check to make the chemical mixture.
All right.
Which would be a craft alchemy check. But since you don't have it, you're just making an intelligence check with a +3.
All right. Oh, 19, 21, 2, 3. 23. I rolled a 19.
Nice. All right, yeah. She actually compliments you. She's like, that's very well mixed right there. Followed my instructions perfectly. And you dump it all in, seal the lid. Like that'll take a couple days. I'm willing to keep watch over it here for you. Just has you maneuver it into a corner out of the way. Like, you can leave it here for a while for a gold.
I'll give her 2.
She doesn't complain. Very well.
She's been very amenable.
Not every day somebody brings in dragon bits for her.
I don't exactly know what she's going to do with a pickled dragon heart, but
everything.
Do you do anything else while you're here?
Nope.
Pick up any vibes?
No, I imagine the scene slides over to Imelda for a time.
Yeah, it will. I just wanted to make sure you were done, that you weren't picking up any supplies.
Not currently, other than what we had already agreed upon. Things for preservation in the field.
Right.
But other than that, no.
Alright, so that'll be she says for 30 gold, she'll get you a sack of various things, and we'll have a scroll for you if you come back tomorrow with the basic uses for them.
Deal.
Very well. Then I will see you tomorrow. All right. Meanwhile, Imelda. Imelda.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you have found yourself a gambling hall. It wasn't hiding. If anything, it was quite blatant in its locale.
Okay.
It's trying to be the medieval fantasy Las Vegas. There are people outside shouting advertisements for the various games within. Live music, cards, darts. Honestly, I don't know all the different medieval style games they would play, but
Ups.
Yep.
Ends.
so you head on in.
Yes. Almost bouncing like she is excited. She's looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this.
Okay.
Pops, pins, dice, tiles, you name it. Cards.
Primarily, my stuff is I'll do cards and dice.
Both very popular here.
Of course.
Also something relatively similar to roulette. Crossed with Plinko. All right. So you are welcomed in as by a not quite a greeter, but it's basic what they're doing at the front. Welcome, welcome.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Justin? Justin, do you hear me?
Yes, Jim.
Okay. So I'm greeted and any particular rules of the establishment I should worry about? Out of game, because some places basically, and out of game, I'm asking if there's any.
All house games use house provided tools, cards, dice, and so on.
I shrug. Fair enough. Well, out of game. Okay, out of game. Not necessarily fair, but
Not an unusual.
rule. Ugh.
Do require you to check any weapons over there. Out of game. Do you carry any obvious weapons, Jim?
A crossbow.
Crossbow.
Okay, were you carrying it into town, or did you leave it at the inn?
I would have left it at the end.
Okay, so they're not like stopping you to search you.
Basically, nothing that's obvious.
Basically.
Okay, well, I pass over 2 daggers.
Okay. They're put into a locker, basically. Actually, since it's daggers, it would just go into a small lockbox, and you're given a wooden
Key.
tab.
Wooden tab. Okay.
No, they keep the key, but you get the tab so they know which one to open for you. Okay. You go in. The place is hopping, as they might say. A lot of caravaneers here, spending their wages.
I actually, I guess the main question is, do they do anything about my staff?
Is your staff more of a walking stick, or is it an obvious quarterstaff?
It's more of a walking stick.
In that case, no.
Like I have club listed because I will use it like that, but it's not. But it's explicitly club. It's not a. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, that's fine. In that case, yeah, they don't say anything.
Okay.
Honestly,
And
you
of
get
course,
more looks for your horns than you do for the staff. So,
yeah,
but
not
again,
surprised.
nobody stops you. There are actually quite a few people who, while there's that passing glance, but then they just kind of and move on. You get more solid looks from the people who are obviously not local.
Interesting. All right. Uh, I'm trying to find. I'll try and find a card game that's got an open share.
Okay. So yeah, you move around for a bit till you find one.
Kind of slide in, you know, look at the dealer buying
Um,
at a game. I don't know.
well, I guess it really depends on what you were looking for. Were you looking for like a blackjack? Are you looking for poker style?
Blackjack.
Okay, well that's not a buy-in then. That's a here's the bets.
Right. Okay. About 15 gold. Actually, let me pause. Perception check to see how much people are gambling at the table. Or do you
So
want me to?
it varies. It looks like most of these people are caravaneers, so their bets are usually in silver. There are a few people betting gold.
Okay, so I would stick to silver myself then.
Okay. They do have a money changer.
Okay.
Out of game, realistically, I'm sorry. Before you walked, there's literally you were directed over to the thing for chips.
Okay.
How much do you
And
convert to chips?
about 10 gold.
Okay. All right. So you sit down, you bet.
And profession gambler.
Yep.
20. I'm sorry. 27. I added a 2 there for some reason.
Okay. Um. Give me a perception check.
That would be a total of 18.
Okay. So you almost miss it, but you just barely catch, and you only even are able to catch it because of your profession being as high. This guy is cheating.
The dealer?
The dealer is cheating. He'll deal from the bottom, at certain times. Do that thing where he has somebody win just enough to keep them at the table, so they keep spending more money.
Right.
But so you're losing, But you realize you're not losing because of a lack of skill or anything, or even just bad luck. You're losing because he's actively having you lose. Question is, what are you going to do about it? This is one of those things you can at any time take what you have left and get up and walk away. At this point, you've only lost about 2 gold.
Here's the problem: is I'm like, my response as me is to get up and walk away. I'm like, Imelda, holy shit, she wants to destroy this man.
Okay.
No, gets up. No, she collects. I collect what I've got.
Okay.
Nod to the gentleman. Nod to the table, gentlemen.
A couple of
Lady?
them watch you go a little more closely than others.
I do my best to keep an eye. Is the dealer paying particular attention, or is he just
No, he continues with his.
so perception check to see if any of the other dealers are pulling that?
Okay. Give me a perception check.
23.
Um,
And then do you want a gambler check to?
that so you don't really need it because you're specifically looking for that and watching for that. But this will take you some time because you have to watch each one for several deals.
Right.
So from what you've been able to determine, some are, some aren't. In fact, from what it looks like, they're more likely to do it at the low stakes tables than they are at the higher ones.
My problem being that with that many of them doing it, it's probably a house thing,
Looks that way.
which I'm not inclined to. Which, oh, trust me, I'm not happy.
But you're not going to go
But
shouting it to the room.
no. Oh, it's definitely got in my sticking in my craw. Like I am not happy.
Okay.
But
So what is our cleric of mischief and trickery going to do?
I'm trying to see if I can spot any bigwig, any guys who look like they might be caravan leaders, like
Like the people
guy
who like actual merchant lords
yeah.
or at least high ranking in whatever they're dealing with. Okay. So you do, and generally speaking, they are sitting at higher stakes games. The other thing is a lot of those games, the house takes a portion of the pot, but they're not a player. Does that make sense?
Right.
So they're getting a portion no matter who wins.
Right. So their people are less inclined to Ugh. Okay. Well, that kind of numbs the one idea. Well, I mean, no, but oh my god, it's the problem. I'm like, I am not. Basically, the plan is Justin is that I want to try and get one of these guys and effectively convince him that, like, a guy who looks like he just lost a lot of money, and I'm basically going to try and see if I can't stir up shit by convincing him that they cheated him.
All right. So you find a
course.
guy who is coming away from a table, obviously upset and much poorer than he came to the table as.
All right.
And you walk up and wrap your arm around his. Give me a diplomacy check.
You beautiful, beautiful girl. Okay. I want to take 21. I gotta double check my diplomacy.
Okay.
19. My bad.
Okay. So he's giving you a hard side eye right now. Because well, you're some strange girl that honestly, Jim, I'm pretty sure you can figure out what he thinks you are.
Hooker.
Yeah. Whether he lost or not, he just came away from a high roller table.
And Jim's a hooker.
Wow. So, can't help but notice that you seem to be having a bit of a streak of bad luck. Kind of side-eye some of the dealers.
And you're
Not
going
helping
to
your situation.
No, not an accident.
You're going to turn that around, are you?
I actually snicker. Hardly, dear.
He's eyeing you up and down like he's not opposed to the idea of drowning some of his sorrows in a bit of carnal pleasure.
Sorry, dear. No. They're definitely not playing by the rules as they want, as much as they might try and claim.
A bold accusation.
Out of game, what would this be at this point, Justin? Bluff or not? This is diplomacy because I'm just trying to convince them.
Mm-hmm.
23.
All right. So you're trying to, point out what they're doing?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that means he needs to make a perception check, because you might tell him, but that doesn't mean he sees it.
Out of game, here's the thing. I'm literally doing a fire and forget. Whatever this guy does.
Okay. So Hatch and Gerg have finished their business, and they've wandered down into a seedier part of town, where they see a small riot happening. As a group of caravan workers are currently tearing apart a gambling establishment.
I look over at
The local constabulary is just keeping it contained.
I look over at Hatch and go, "So it's Tuesday, is it?"
It would
Oh my
seem.
Justin.
I'll stand there with my hands on my hips, very cross, stern face. I'm trying to pick Imelda out of the group.
Justin,
Yeah.
I want to try and see what gold I can snatch in the chaos. Sleight of hand?
Yeah.
No.
Well, here's the problem. Who are you snatching it from?
I would be aiming for the house.
Okay. I remind you, they have the lock area. So unless you're breaking into there, which wouldn't be sleight of hand anymore, it's not going to be from the house. The exchange area?
Well, considering the current chaos, I think I can get into there too.
That's fine. It's just not going to be sleight of hand at that point.
Okay, what are Want me to roll?
Because here's the other thing. You're not the only one trying to break in there right now.
Nope.
They are literally
You're
trying
probably not even leading the charge.
No. When I say they're tearing the place apart, I mean physically and literally. A lot of feedback from you, Jim.
I'm sorry.
Like game tables are being hurled, walls are being ripped open. There may be somebody being lynched over there.
Imelda is struggling not to. I'm struggling not to cackle.
Oh, it's
Nope,
definitely
nope.
fucking
He's
Tuesday. Pointing out the
definitely
guy
being
being lynched.
Yeah, he's definitely
Yeah,
being lynched.
You were right, Greg. It's definitely Tuesday. Pointing him out, being lynched.
Anyway, so how much? What do you want?
I need a... Well, here's the thing. Are you assisting the people in getting in there? And if so,
Yeah.
how?
Okay. Is there a guy trying to break down the door?
You got guys trying to break down the door. You got people literally yanking on the bars.
One of the guys
the
trying to break down the door.
woman-
Justin gets strength cast on him.
Like you have the woman is cowering behind the counter who has no idea what's happening right now.
But I have full strength in memory. I literally grabbed it randomly.
All right. Well, in that case, so yeah, the door is open. At this point, yeah, I'll give you a sleight of hand to grab some.
Oh my god. That's funny.
Well, you've definitely got some. Let's see how much.
Do people begin running out with gold bags, just fucking money just flying everywhere? Here in a minute. I mean, of course.
No, because people aren't. There's not in bags. So, do you know how the poker chip trays are?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what it's. The coins themselves are set up in things like that. So people are literally grabbing handfuls of coins.
Right. So it's worse than I was imagining. There's
Yes.
just coinage everywhere and people being trumped.
Yes. It is chaos. That's why the guards. By the time you guys show up, the guards are just keeping it contained.
Right. And so I
mean, part of the building's on fire.
Gerg and I Gerg and I are just sort of scanning the crowd looking for Imelda. I know she's in there. I feel it in my nuggets.
So, how much do I get, Justin?
Okay, apparently you get 9 gold. Because I kid you not, I've rolled percentiles 3 times, and I have rolled 3, 9, and 6. So I'm just giving you the highest number.
Okay.
So you come out of this down a gold and 2 daggers.
Oh well.
But with a heck of an
Worth
experience.
Worth it.
Because, by the way, yeah, there's nobody at the check at the front to get your daggers back out. There is somebody up there trying to pry the stuff open, though.
And I'm walking out. Justin, I did actually. I'm not a total bitch. I got the girl who was under the counter. I'm like, come on, dearie, let's get you out of here.
Curious. What
Uh,
are our Emerald Pilgrims reacting like?
Well, Tonbris is somewhat horrified. Kalumi is just... Is this what you wanted to show me?
No, this is what I wanted to avoid.
Okay, probably should have stopped Imelda then. You know, the cleric of the goddess of mischief and trickery. Also lust.
Yeah.
Jim, I'm going to actually need an escape artist from you to get through the crowd, especially with her.
Take that roll.
Okay?
That would be an 18 on the die. I don't know that I have any ranks in it, but I still have a decent dex, so. 22.
Okay. It takes you a bit longer than you would like. Both of you have some bruises, but no real damage by the time you get out. But yeah, you get out. Give me a perception check.
21.
Okay, you see Hatch's face scanning over top of the crowd.
I'm trotting over that
I was going to say,
way.
out of game, I believe you are quite tall, are you not, Hatch? 6'5".
Yes.
Yeah, you're relatively tall.
On the other hand, I'm 4'7".
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm trotting over. Is the girl like I'm not pulling her along anymore. Is she following me?
Yes. She
Found your
is,
pet, have you?
terrified.
Oh, poor dear was in the middle of that chaos. I was hardly going to just let her deal with the outcome of, well, whatever caused that.
Out of game, Jim, she's wearing a vest that is... It's a shade of... All the people there that worked for the place were wearing a vest that's a shade of blue. Part of the reason you had so much trouble getting her through the crowd.
Come on, dearie, let's get you a change of clothes. Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to get any gambling done tonight. Or possibly for a bit.
I don't gamble.
No. I'm sorry, dearie.
Can't afford it. Always thought those that did were crazy. She glances over her shoulder. Yeah.
I pause. I grin. And there's probably something very slightly, as they would put it, lake touch to it. You might have a point there.
She shivers
Oh, come
again. Meanwhile, back at the edge of the crowd, Kalumi taps you on the shoulder, Hatch.
I thought I was there.
You took her to go somewhere, is my understanding.
No, I looked at them. I'm like, I don't think you're going to get any gambling done, lads. Once I reached them.
Kalumi's actually goes, well, there's one over there we could go to.
Not sure if they'll be open for. They might be closing down for a little bit. I shrug. Anyway, I need to go get this young lass out of clothes that make her a target.
Actually, she just strips the vest off.
Yeah, that works.
Leaves it on the ground.
Just kind of throws, yeah.
Like I said, it's just a vest. It goes over her clothing. Okay. So, do you try and go somewhere else? Where do y'all head?
Well, have a very cute young thing. I'm assuming since she was working at the counter.
She's fairly attractive, yeah.
Yeah, I want to sleep with her.
All right. Well, as her rescuer and completely unaware that you are the cause of all this,
Not really difficult.
it's gonna be a diplomacy check to talk her into bed. But yeah, it's not gonna be terribly hard on your part.
20.
Yeah, that's plenty.
Booyah.
Well, then I'll give them the stink eye as she gives some bullshit excuse to need to slink away with her cart off to the inn, leaving Gerg and I with our two friends here and figuring a way to entertain them in the chaos.
Like, I have excitement for the evening, at least, of dealing with this sort of thing.
Right, I could imagine.
I look over at Hatch. Pub?
Pub.
So, any luck? Oh, before I go, did you have any luck? You all, I was honestly expecting you all to be shortly behind me. What took you?
Alchemy lessons.
Yeah, self-interest. Also, what took this gambling house, it would seem.
Apparently, I heard they
Yeah,
were.
we'll
I
find
heard
another.
no, in game. I heard some of the dealers were cheating people.
Terrible. I wouldn't spend my money in a house of ill repute.
He only
Everyone
wants the whores with
within
good
20 feet
reputations.
turns to look at you disbelievingly.
No, it's completely believable. He wants clean whores.
Horse, I got a true love. You questioning me on her?
Anyway, I'm
We're not
trotting.
talking about love, mate.
I'm trotting off laughing at my boys.
If you're suggesting I would let some tot dangle me dangly bits, you're wrong. And I'll pull out my little hand sketched picture of my little the woman that I met, and I'll wax poetically.
And again, we're going to need to go back just so he can find this girl again.
I've been staying in touch with her. Whenever we make it somewhere, I send missives and stinky cheese and gold and just weird shit to her.
She's going.
Things that Hatch believes is fancy.
He's going. Who the fuck keeps sending me this shit?
Oh no, as I recall, he rocked her world.
I
I've
believe so, but
become
I have to
quite
go back and listen to an earlier episode to be sure.
I've become quite smitten, even though we only spent that one passionate night.
So, I will later on drop my stuff off. Would arrange to drop my stuff off with the alchemist for the curing. Uh. Anyway, I have a delightful night with my little. Mind you,
Morsel?
yeah, basically. Like, trying to think how to put it. One of the things that I am very do my best to be very clear is that even if it's a wonderful night, cleric of Mevlin.
So, yeah.
I am more than
During the seduction, I'm guessing that comes up, which she gets to understand that this is, in fact, a fling.
yeah. Like, I'm not opposed to even being friends. Like, if I come back through town and see her, I'd be willing to talk and spend time. But Mevlin's not a big supporter of
Monogamy?
Oh, yeah, basically.
She's not outright opposed to it, but yeah, it's not exactly
Not-
high on her list of priorities.
Mhm. Also, after we're done, I do slip off for a brief while to send a prayer to Mevlin and dedicate the chaos of the night to her.
The entire night, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there are churches in town, so that's not terribly hard for you to do if you want to do it at a shrine. Excuse me.
Okay.
There is the faint, not really heard, just the impression of a giggle.
There you go. Out of game. I am a cleric, which does mean something. And unlike Fourth Wall, I'm not a cleric of a force. I'm a cleric of an actual god. So I, do try and please my patron. Anyway, well, that's probably it for me for the time that we're in town.
So you said this place was kind of like striving to be something of Vegas, right?
Yeah, they get a lot of through
Obviously not
traffic.
as grandiose.
Right.
Curious, does the land here allow for equestrian sport? Do they have races of any sort? A track where we could bet and double up some money?
You know what?
Where we're not going to have to contend with cheating gamblers, where that seems like a bad idea now.
High low.
Let's go high.
Um, they in fact do, in and of because this is a fairly open area, not a lot of foliage. They have leveled out a space. They haven't had it open very long. It's not as popular yet, but there is one open.
Are there horses or camels? Both.
So on this side, it is mostly horses.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. We're not all the way into the desert yet.
Yeah, it's when you cross the white sands that you'd be in more desert.
Well, perfect. I would suggest that we go to the track because usually places like that have amenities, alcohol, food, and gambling.
Okay.
Plus, you're liable to meet some fabulously wealthy individuals. Not the people gambling, but the people who own the horses. They tend to be very eccentric.
Yeah. So
Let's go hob.
head off to racetrack.
Sounds like a place to food, water, and entertain.
I think the subtitle for this one is probably going to be Panic at the Gambling Hall. Not really a disco. So.
Oh, glory.
All right. So yeah, it is getting into evening, so they are actually beginning to wrap up for the day, but they do still have a few more races. Actually, just one more race for today.
Well, I'll throw a little money at it. I don't know if to break the bank or become a millionaire, but
Okay.
just enough to kind of give us segue for potentially just hanging out, meeting some people, and drinking a few drinks.
Well, this is a generator I was never expecting to use. Racehorse name generator. It doesn't work.
Whatever. It can be as simple as a six-sided die. I don't care.
So, Rascal, Moose, Sterling Silver, Whiskey Dreams, Mother's Love. Any of those sound like names you want to bet on?
You kidding? I got 5 gold on Mother's Love.
Alrighty. I'll say Mother's Love does not have good odds, but that's probably not something you even bothered to check before you put that down.
Not at all. That's how you get paid good, in my opinion. That's how he gambles. Low, terrible odds. That means the payoff's great. Here's 5 gold.
True. So you're standing there, the race starts, and Sterling has a good start, like quick off the line, but just does not have the stamina. Where the others seem to be neck and neck for a while until Mother's Love shoulders its way past and wins by a nose. I'm
That's
not even
it?
kidding. I rolled a d8 and I said it's an 8. If I get an 8, Mother's Love wins, and that is what happened.
And I grabbed the nearest person, whether it's Greg Gerg or one of these fucking pilgrims, and I jumped for joy. Look at that.
It was neither. Random person number 7.
There you go, random person number 7. Big old kiss on the forehead. Greatest joy in my life.
How much did he just win?
It was 10 to 1 odds.
50 gold?
Yep.
Nice.
Makes me wish I'd have bet the house, but whatever.
If you had, they might be trying to kill you.
That's fair. They're new.
So, you are one of not that many people that are collecting your winnings.
And I'm no fool. That's let's see, 50 gold.
They take, again,
10. I was gonna say 12 gold goes back to the house. That's a 3% of my winnings back to the house. On top of whatever processing fee. As I'm aware, they already said, like they're relatively new. Well, I want to bolster the business here. I'm a happy patron.
Okay. So 3% is 1.5 gold, not 12.
Oh well, forgive me. I'm put it in the wrong spot.
You gave him
1.5
like
gold. Then.
30%.
Yeah, no, then not that much then. Here, yet again, 2 gold, 3 gold, whatever. Whatever is a gratuitous amount. I'm math wrong.
That's fine. The question is, did Hatch math wrong? Is
I don't think
Hatch
so.
being handed 50 gold going to turn around and give 12 of it back to them?
I don't believe he is that foolish.
Okay. All right, so yeah, and down at the track right now is the horse and the jockey and the owner.
Well, if it's allowed, take our friends down there and we'll check them out.
Okay. The jockey is a gnome. As you get close, you actually can hear some people complaining that, it's not fair because a gnome jockey is so much smaller and therefore lighter.
Sounds smart in my book.
There is complaining, but on the whole, most people are just kind of grumbling, but not doing anything. You know what I mean? Did anyone notice how this section down at the bottom of the town looks like a hand?
That's kind of cool.
I don't know what's going on with this drawing, but doesn't it? What's your rolling a wisdom on there, Hatch?
Oh, a nat 20.
Total of 20. But what are you rolling a wisdom check for?
What?
Did you not just roll a wisdom check?
I don't know how that happened. I don't even have my character sheet. Oh, I was canceling out of my character sheet. Might have double clicked on something that was not intended.
Okay, I just heard the blurp sound and I checked and there's you having rolled a wisdom mod. So I'm like, oh, okay. You just make your way through the crowd, congratulate them, and move on, or what are you doing?
Kind of congratulate the guy. Thank the owner of the horse or whatever, for allowing me to make a decent stipend. Attempt to make a contact, I guess. I don't know to what end, but rich friends never hurt anyone, as far as I'm concerned.
The owner and the jockey are both quite gregarious right now, willing to talk to people who are not complaining.
Well, perfect.
In
I'd be
fact,
too
it pretty quickly comes out that they are in fact married.
wonderful.
So
Congratulations are in order.
technically co-owners. It's just one runs the training and the other is the writer.
I'd make some silly comment in the way of like who's married to the horse,
So these two are earthy enough that they're like, well, technically both of us.
That's
I was rolling to see how well it went over because depending on the society.
yeah.
But at least these two were quite.
Good. It was not meant to offend.
Right. No,
I'll be like two hands shaking their hands like they proffer a hand, and I'll be like grabbing with both hands, excitedly shaking. Thank you, thank you. Introducing my friends like I already know who these two guys are.
There's some other people in richer clothing nearby that you can see are grumbling amongst themselves.
Well, apparently, not everybody is as happy with your presence as I am.
Oh, well, some people are sore losers. Horses from our stables have been doing rather well on the track, despite whatever.
Well, I say anyone that would bet against a mother's love is just an all-around fool.
Right?
I was sold on the name right away. Greg, you're being rather silent over there. Is
Still
it the
here.
myriad of smells? Is that what it is?
But it's almost 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up for tonight here. So you spend some time with them, and then you and the others go back. Kalumi, who's quite excited to see this. She'd never seen a horse race before. Sunbrus had, but he still enjoyed it. Congratulates you on your luck. And y'all head back to the inn and get some sleep. And we will pick up with the following day.
Excellent.
Eventually. Whenever we get back here. And
Well,
then,
we crammed a lot into this one. A lot of heavy role play, decent combat. So
yeah, first half heavy combat, second half all role play. All right. I'll catch you all next time.